I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchanged something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on.
What's up? What's going on, Purpose Driven family? We are back. And man, I must say I'm so happy to see you all. I'm so happy for everybody that's able to tune in and join us today. Because, hey, we're about to have an amazing time. Because the individual that I have, he's an inspiration, really. We always talk about people that want to be entrepreneurs, but don't know how to do it because their schedules are busy. So many things going on in the world, like still having to work. Like he still has his job. He's dedicated, but he still found a way to incorporate what he wants to do, how he wants to leave his mark on the world. And when I say this dude has an amazing story, like I got to let you talk to him. So I can't hold it up anymore, because even I have a couple of questions, because he's doing certain things that make me want to make my life better, be better for myself. So I have a couple of questions, but I was like, I can't ask, because you know how we do here. We keep it transparent. I want it to be just as natural as you're hearing it for the first time. I'm hearing it for the first time. And you know how we do. We just get down and let this person tell about their life, because this gentleman is amazing. So I can't hold you up any longer. I got to get it started. I got to bring you the one and only Cortez Lampley.
Billy Graham Jr., what's up, brother? Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Thanks for having you. I'm so glad that you were able to take some time out your busy schedule just to join us. Man, I appreciate you.
Hey, man, we've been trying to link up for a couple weeks. I'm glad we made it happen, man.
Man, who are you telling? I feel crazy. I've been moving around so much. Not even just me. I know you've been moving around so much. People don't understand what it goes into moving on the drop of a hat like this. Like, oh, gotta go. Time to go.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Sometimes you can't control your schedule, so you gotta go as things kind of I would say go as they dictate. But we do what we can. We do what we can, brother.
Man, now before we get started, I gotta have you tell the world, who is Cortez?
Man, so Cortez Lampley is a active duty officer. Been serving the Air Force for 10 years. Currently the head trainer and founder of Lampley Fitness, a virtual fitness platform that provides personal training and nutrition training. In short, man, a kid from Alabama is out here just kind of trying to live his dream, man.
Now, we gotta ask because you said Alabama. Are you an Alabama fan? Are you one of those Roll Tide people?
Don't do that to me, brother. Don't do that to me. Oh, no. For anybody watching out there, War Eagle all the way. War Eagle all the way. I'm an Auburn alum. I got both my undergrad and my master's from Auburn University back in I would say the old days. Now we're older, but back in 2010, man, I finished up school and I've been loyal to the team ever since. Now, don't get me wrong, they let me down sometimes, including this year, but I roll with them, baby. I roll with them.
Nope. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, man. And that's amazing. For one, congrats for not being an Alabama fan. And at the same time, congrats from getting a degree and a master's and all that from a reputable school.
Thank you, brother.
Alabama isn't, but we not.
Exactly. That other school in Alabama, right?
Exactly. That other school. Now I'm just curious. I'm curious because we hear everybody has their various reasons. What made you say, I want to join the military?
That's a good question, man. So my pops was military. To kind of share a personal story, he passed in '04 from a car accident. I was 16. I got a younger brother. We're 7 years apart. He was 9. And I think for the longest time, I was honest, I was just chasing him. Like the stuff that he did, I was trying to do. He actually he was in the Marine Corps, though.
Okay.
And after I finished up school, one of my mentors, retired Army 06, and we was just talking about the Air Force life a minute ago. He would not let me go Army or Marine Corps. He would not let me do it. So ended up looking at the Air Force, man. That was back in 2014, and it's been a great experience. I've traveled all over the country, met some amazing people, did some things that I don't think I didn't even know existed before joining the military. So it's been a wonderful experience so far, man. I think the biggest thing just being able to serve. As you know, military is selfless. When they tell you to go, you go. When they tell you to wake up, you wake up. When they tell you to drop everything and leave your family, that's what you do. I mean, they don't come without sacrifice. You got to have your support systems and everything. But I think that's what's keeping me going. The day that I don't feel like I'm serving and it's coming from a selfless place, it's probably the day I do something different.
Man, you said a couple things there. First off, I want to say condolences because the loss of a father, like a loved one, that's powerful. Like you said that you looked up to him, so you were chasing him. So it brings me back to what you said, because you said support system and the things that go on in the military. And I want to draw this picture because many people miss this part of life because we go a certain way in life and we do certain things. And many of us don't realize that that's kind of deeply rooted in us from our upbringing. Mm-hmm. So you said you were raised, your dad was military Marines. Can you tell us about, because it helped you become who you are today, but can you tell us about your upbringing that led you up through life and how things were to even get you to this point where you are now?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So, I mean, my mom and dad, high school educated, right? They didn't go to college. Nobody else in my family went to college. Actually, I was the first person to graduate from college. So, but they made it work. They worked hard. They made it happen. They were a team through it all. I think that's really what I took away from those two. To the day he left here, my mom and my dad, they got along. They supported each other, and they made everything happen for me and my brother. Right? But as you get older, what you realize is, you see, I don't necessarily see that when you're growing up. You're not. I never went without. Right? I didn't. I definitely didn't think I was rich or anything like that. But I knew. I was like, all right. Well, I see some folks with stuff that I want, but they say they'll get it for me later. Later never really happened, but it was all right. But as you get older, man, you realize that they did everything they could with the resources that they had, and that's all that I can ask for. But I noticed that the way that he led our family, he was humble. He was very disciplined, right, in his approach. And I think those are a lot of the big takeaways from our upbringing. Is to just work hard. If you work hard, things gonna take care of themselves, right? Be disciplined in your approach. Be disciplined in your thoughts and your actions. Think through. That was his big thing. My dad was a really big critical thinker, which was weird going to them, being in the Marine Corps, because they shoot first, ask questions later. But he was a huge thinker. So I think that's probably what I took away the most, man. Just work hard. Work hard, be humble, and everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Man, so you did it again. You're dropping these nuggets that I want people to not miss, because the simple fact, we always hear generational curses, and the first thing we think is the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even really like the word curses. I'm looking at it more like continuing and making the next generation better. Like you said, your parents, high school educated, always there. Your dad was a critical thinker. He's showing you your family's showing you who they are. Because people have this misconception that you have to have some high education. Now, don't get me wrong, education is important.
Mm-hmm.
But you did what most parents want you to do. They ran a race, and it came time to pass the baton. You and your brother grabbed it, and you kept it going. And you set it up for the next level. So when it's time for you to pass the baton, we want our family members to come behind us to go further than we did.
Right.
We're supposed to level up in life. Drake wasn't lying when he said it's levels to this thing. We're supposed to level up in life, and your parents set that foundation for you and your brother, and now you're leveled up to where you are right now.
For sure.
And man, I just can't. I get filled with joy, especially when you see another Black man in this world take it and take that baton and do what they're supposed to do. I can't not acknowledge that, because man, what you're doing now is amazing, and I appreciate it on behalf of others. So congrats with that. That is amazing, brother.
I appreciate it, brother. I mean, we being young Black men, we got an opportunity to set the course for whatever your legacy gonna be. You mentioned, passing off the baton. You can tell your kids, hey, you know what? I own one business, maybe you can do two or three. I had one podcast, you could be a speaker for this, right? The way I love to think about it is, whatever the end of my capabilities be, I pray that that's like the baseline for my kids. Like everything that I do, everything that I'm trying to put out should be the foundation for them, so they can just elevate even higher.
Man, it's funny you say that, because growing up, same. I looked at my parents, and don't get me wrong, my parents provided everything to me in my mind, because I took my kids recently before we started moving around again, like couldn't retire, moving overseas and stuff. Took them like to my upbringings, like, hey, this is where grandma stayed. We stayed here, and I showed that circle of life, because unknowing, we move in clusters, and so my dad and his brothers and sisters, when you didn't recognize it at the time, like when they moved in, one spouse sibling moved to a neighborhood, normally everybody else migrated around and they all moved together. And I was like, yeah, my uncle stayed there, my aunt stayed there, and I was like, y'all stayed around the corner from each other. And so my wife was talking, it was like similar in her family, we moved in clusters. We never knew we didn't have or what we had, because what we saw, everybody was in the same boat. Right. It's not like today with social media, where I can just open my phone and be like, how can they afford all that or have all? We didn't have that.
Right.
And so growing up, you hear somebody say, oh man, you make how much? I'm talking about 50, 60, 70,000 was like amazing to us. Now my kids have leveled up that when they hear the word 100,000, they're like, yeah, that's normal, right? Like I had to have a conversation with my son, like, nah, $100,000 a year really is not normal. Like that puts you in like the top percentile of the working force. Like that's not normal.
Right.
But their mind has been conditioned to be so normal that my oldest son literally had to tell me that, hey, that's what you're used to. Like, we're not used to that. Like, we don't understand that. And I was like, I have to start looking at this different because they don't see from our eyes. They did take from where we took it the furthest of our extent, and they're picking up from where we're giving it, and it's not going to look the same. So I'm glad you said that because of the simple fact what we leave behind, we want them to take it and make that their foundation because that foundation is only as strong is the foundation we made, just like the foundation that your parents left for you.
I mean, you hit on a really good point, brother. You gotta tie it back to where you came from, right? In order for them to appreciate 100,000, they got to see a whole community that's living off 35, 40,000.
Yep.
And now it means something. My folks are the same way. I'm gonna throw out a city from, I don't know if anybody knows it, but it's Union Springs, Alabama. Straight country, maybe 10 miles of it's just dirt roads, man. But all of my family's there. You know, my mom, my mom's sisters, my dad's siblings, mom's siblings. So it's very easy to go back for holidays and see everybody because we all right there.
Yep.
But then again, everybody's right there. They've never left. So my hope is to be able to take my kids there and say, this is where your grandparents came from, right? And then take them back to our neighborhood and see the difference. But put the link of work, right? Like you and I are working to put our families and put ourselves in different situations, and they happening just overnight. And they ain't gonna come to you if you don't put in no work.
Man, this is okay. I promise you, we're gonna get somewhere with this, but you keep bringing this such amazing, like when you said that putting in that work.
Yeah.
And we take the kids and all that back to this was our upbringing. And I remember you said about when you joined the military and like it's allowed you to go so many places and see so many things. And it made my mind just explode because yes, the military has afforded a life that I wouldn't even thought about. Mm-hmm. Like I'm from Houston, Texas. It's I don't know if it's the fourth largest city in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's from a very diverse culture. Like it was everything. Like I didn't have to leave. Like I tell people all the time, if you want the biggest life hack is to get outside of your city, your state, get outside of your country. Mm-hmm. And so during the military, all these deployments, I'm like, it's a whole nother world over here. I'm during these deployments, don't get me wrong, they're wartime, but we're meeting individuals that aren't on the bad side of the war, sort of like the generational curses. Right. In Iraq, I was meeting people that were Iraqis that weren't bad. Different places like Saudi Arabia, people that are not bad people, they're great people. I'm like, man, I did not know this. And then I got stationed like Korea, Italy, like my family got to see that, but I was able to kind of reverse hack it. Like mm-hmm. my parents never probably would have got a chance to see Europe, but my mom, my dad, like they came and visited right. and they got to experience a part of life that they possibly wouldn't have done if I wasn't stationed there. So that life hack, and it was like, okay, like you said, being able to, that's my mom tuning in, family, great one. That's her. That's, you know, that support system that you talk about. She's always there. Her and my family, they're always there. My wife's always there. But like I was saying, like that life hack that they wouldn't have probably experienced that. And so my kids growing up, that was like the bar. Like I remember my son, he was 3 years old, my youngest. He thought we were supposed to get on the airplane every month and go somewhere because that's how much we traveled. We were traveling all over Europe, and that was his life going up. So when we came back to the States, he's like, isn't it time to travel again? Like, why are we sitting still? And I realized we had already set that bar for him. So when my wife and I retired, we're sitting here like, yeah, we can sit here, but it's like limiting our kids. We've already set this bar. Mm-hmm. So then it was like, yeah, we got to go see the rest of the world. We got to keep showing it to them. Like we can't just stop. And I say that because as parents around the world, we give our kids something and we're feeding into them with something. You can't all of a sudden pull it back. Right. Because that's what's going to keep them from going. We tell people all the time, you have a purpose in life and you have to feed somebody's purpose. Our kids' minds are expanded. they're way advanced than we were at their age.
Right.
So that doesn't mean I have to reel you back into what I had. I need to keep finding ways to feed you more. And you are an example of that for your family. You keep feeding them more. And man, it's just amazing because that every time you say something, it's like, I can't believe you said that. Well, that's a good point. Let's talk about it. Because you're feeding them more.
Right.
And it leads me to this. Because you also said earlier about the business aspect. Your parents, your dad, and then all of a sudden you in the military and you're like the businesses. What led you for why you were sitting in the military? Like, I have something that I need to do. Like, I have something more inside of me than this military that, yes, I know I'm here for acts of service, but I have some more that I can give. What was that light bulb that said, I have more to give and this is what I'm going to do?
Oh man, that's a good one. I think first it came from recognizing that you got different I would say avenues of energy that you can give, right? So military, that's my career and I love it. I enjoy what I do, I excel at what I do, but it's one avenue that gets my time and efforts and energy, right? What I realize is that while I'm good at it and while I can do it every day, that's not my passion. That's not my purpose, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was actually over COVID where it really clicked for me that what I'm doing now with my business is what I need to be doing, right? Like that's the thing that I have to do because that's what's directly making a difference because of who I am. So what made me start it, man, was really just wanting to be healthier. Again, like I said, it's online. It was personal training and nutrition, but the big thing is just wanting to help people to be healthier. Growing up back in Alabama, every meal was soul food, and I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I can't. We got Thanksgiving in a couple of weeks. I can't wait. But when I got out of, when I joined the military and I started to travel, I noticed that people don't eat like that every single day, and I was like, okay, well why is that? And then I started to learn, which led me to learn about diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, all the things that were very prevalent where I come from. That I was just told, no, it runs in the genes, it runs in the family. It's like,
Yeah.
what does that? What does that mean, right? And then I started to learn that a lot of these illnesses are not hereditary, right? They're a product of your lifestyles. So from there, I started to make some changes. Started to change the way I ate. I've always really been really big into working out. Played sports in high school. Got really big into fitness in college. So that aspect was always there. But I think when I sat down over COVID and married it up with the fitness and the nutrition, I was like, man, I think I could really make some change here. So started off with just a couple of clients, seeing if I knew what I was doing. And after seeing the results that those people got and the reasons why they wanted to change, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right here. You meet a lot of people that'll say, I want to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and they think that that's their goal. Once you start talking to them, you realize they just had a kid and they want to be around because they're a new dad or a new mom, and they want to make sure that they're around as long as they can to see their child. So knowing those kind of things I think is like, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to be doing right here.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because so for me, I live and I operate according to my 5 pillars, which are faith, fitness, finance, freedom, and family. And so when you take them all, they all correlate. They all incorporate fitness in some type of way.
Right.
Like when people hear fitness, you automatically think, oh, go to the gym, get in shape. But it doesn't understand that fitness incorporates the eating right, taking care of your body, making sure you're mentally ready. Like fitness is a whole encompassing thing. And when that fitness appears, it appears in all of my pillars. And I never really thought about it until you explained it the way you just did about how we were upbringing. Because don't get me wrong, I'm with you. That's soul food. As I was coming up, I loved it because you said genetics, these these conditions that we have, and I also have to look at the genetic side because I'm like you, played athlete all throughout my younger years, throughout college, and so then you join the military, which makes you stick with a whole nother athletic part of your life, and so you go all these years just athletics, not realizing those underlying things that soul food, the way we were raised, like this isn't the norm. And I remember, like you, the first time my light bulb really went off was when I got stationed in Italy, me and my family. And we're like, how do they sit down and eat a whole pizza in one sitting? Like, this is impossible. Like, one whole pizza, one person. And before I knew it, my family of 5, we would go order pizza, and everybody had to have their own pizza. Like my 3-year-old, 4-year-old had to have his own pizza. And I'm like, how is this possible? And then I'm looking around, they're eating all these spaghettis and all this. Because I remember growing up, carbs, like they gave us to it before a sports game for the energy. But at the same time, I know carbs turn into sugars. And I'm like, how come I don't really see any obese people around here? Because in the community I grew up in, it was just a part of the stages. You get to a certain age, become one of the, like, I just thought this was normal. It wasn't until I did my own research that I was like, no, it's not. It's not that. It's the types of food, how they grow it, how they do this. Like, I learned so many things just by watching how the Italians and the Europeans operated, which leads me to this question that I'm about to ask you. People always hear, the first thing they hear is like, oh, you got to work out, and part of working out is eating healthy. What is that information that you'll first tell somebody that's starting out? Like, how do they start eating better for themselves? So, because, in our community, we raised a certain way and we're like, this is the best way, especially America. Like, we're the most obese country in the world. How do you tell somebody or help somebody that's starting out, like, these are the type of ways or the best way we need to eat?
Well, it comes from understanding what they currently do, because a lot of people don't know. Like I said, they ate the way their mom did, the way their dad did, which don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it may not be conducive to the lifestyle that you want, right? So the first thing is making you aware of what you eat. Growing up where I grew up, man, honestly, like organic food, fresh produce, all this stuff, it wasn't around. Like, you go to the store, you get what you get. So it's making you aware. What are you currently eating? What's available in your community? What kind of lifestyle do you have that contributes to that? And painting that initial picture. And then send out with somebody and say, okay, these are the things that I would like to tweak. Right now, you don't get a lot of vegetables in your diet, right? You eat a lot of pork, which isn't bad, but these cuts of meat are not as good as, maybe a clean cut of chicken or a clean cut of steak or something like that. And then we paint a picture of what things should look like.
Okay.
Right? And then from there, we get after the behavior change. The really big thing, the biggest piece, man, is sitting down with somebody and walking them away from old habits to new habits. When you go to the grocery store, don't go pick up all the old stuff. I understand you might not want the fruit. And I might understand you might not want the vegetables, but just trust me. We're going to get home. I'm going to show you how to prepare them in the way that you like them, right? And then the fitness piece, I think that social media has kind of skewed what fitness is. Not everybody's looking to have abs. Not everybody's trying to lift, 200-300 pounds on every lift. And it is very subjective, which comes back to, understanding your why. Why do you want to make a change? What is driving you to say, I want to do something different? And then constantly reminding you of that, right?
Yeah.
I can't make you change, but I can remind you of the reasons why the way that, the path you're going down is not going to get you to where you say you want to be, And from there, man, it's really just, it's weaving in those 3 pieces. Painting a picture of what things need to look like, looking at your lifestyle to see where can we make changes, and then really working on, I'll say, the behavior piece and building some new habits.
I love how you said that changing and that making new habits. Now, this next question is kind of like a turn back for a second.
Okay.
What? Because something had to happen Something happened. I know you told us what made you start the business.
Mhm.
Or that person that's sitting out there, because like you said, like social media today, and we see it on a regular basis, like has made us believe like this is what it looks like to be fit. But somewhere along that line, before you even get to the part of thinking about being fit, something had to click in your head that said, I want to make a change.
Mhm.
What was that thing? Because somebody out there is watching like, hey, I want to be like Cortez when I grew up. What is that thing that said, I need to make a change and this is how I'm going to apply it? But at the same time, I'm going to help others because that's what started the business.
Yeah.
What was that thing that made you, that clicked for you, that made you do that?
Well, it's twofold, man. You know, you mentioned your 5 pillars. If I'm being completely transparent and honest, back in 2020, 2021, it was a season for me. You know, we all go through ups and downs. I started therapy. You know, it was something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I felt that some things just weren't right, but it's like, you know what? I don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the way I feel, it's probably not the way I want to feel. But what that did is it challenged me to open up my aperture to my own lifestyle and see what was working for me and what was not. Like I say, no, I can always work out. I'm an athlete. I can go in the gym and do whatever. I can run. I can lift weights. I do all that stuff, no problem. But when I looked at my holistic lifestyle, I was drinking a lot. You know, diet wasn't the best. I was like, I want to make changes for myself and see what that does. And honestly, man, it I would say it did so much for me.
Okay.
That combined with all the other, I would say, efforts that I was making to make some changes, I saw the difference in myself. I felt better. I slept better. Obviously, you see the body composition changes that come with, you know, that kind of lifestyle change. But overall, I just felt better, right? Second, it was my mom. So my mom is 62. She's about 3 years from retirement. And as I kind of got into some stuff, into my fitness stuff, like she would try to tag along and do some things with me. And to this day, man, she goes and, again, from Alabama. So she goes and line dance and swing dance 2-3 times a week. You know, she's changed the way that she eats. And when I look at her and I look at my aunts and my uncles and I look at her peers, there's a visible difference, right? Thank God that she doesn't have any illnesses right now. And I'm not saying that food can, your proper diet and proper nutrition can eliminate everything, but it can definitely help. And seeing how it changed for her, I was like, man, if I can work with people that's my age, like I know that by the time they get to be 40, 50, 60, and it's been going from there, man, trying to just make the small changes that will contribute to somebody else having a
Man, you just made me think of something, because I've never thought about it when I normally ask, like, what was that thing that made somebody start a business or something like that? And it made them, because I had to look at myself real quick when I thought about this, when you said it about making that change. And most people don't realize that when you go out and you start a business or something like that. And I even thought back to with my wife, because my wife is in daycare, home daycare and all that. Normally, when you start to see an entrepreneur, they're normally their own first client.
Yep.
Like they made the mental change and they like done so much. Like when I talk to people and they're like, why do your mind think like that? Because that's what the strategic part, military, like my whole upbringing, like how you said your dad was that critical thinker. My parents were the type of parents, like the part of their support and made like that think outside the box, realize there's no box kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They would give me so much and be like, now you need to figure out the rest. And they were guided, but they were fostering something inside of me where it was like my mind was always analyzing stuff. And then you couple that with our upbringing, where we're from, like head always on the swivel, gotta make sure nobody, just the little things. And then you transition that into the military and always keeping your everything this. So my mind is always making the next plan before it even gets there. I
Right.
call it like the Final Destination mind, like the movie, The Final Destination. Like, hey, you go that way, this and this. My mind does that all day long. So I became my own first client about how do you help somebody with personal and professional development. I just basically became like a development strategist.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying because my mind is always developing scenarios. And the way you just said about I had to start with myself. I had to fix myself. That you were your own kind of first therapist, your own life, like taking it in, and then you branched out from there.
Mm-hmm.
How does that actually work? Because you know what you're doing for yourself. You're seeing you're able to help like your mom.
Ooh.
How do you reach out and go like, I need to find clients. I want to help other people. Like, how do you find those individuals?
I'm sorry, I lost you there, brother. Could you repeat that last question for me?
I say when you helped yourself, then you helped your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, I'm gonna start this business. How do you go about? What's that first step to go about saying I need to find some clients? I gotta find people I want to help.
For sure. So I took about a year and just went to school. And COVID was a great year to just sit at home and learn. I think over that year I got 2 or 3 certifications to make sure that I had the education piece right. And then from there, really, I'll say the business aspect of it is so many people out there to help. You got to decide the target market for you. So for me, I started off with military individuals. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna agree with me. And hope other people don't get mad. We are not as fit as they think we are, brother.
No.
But I started with individuals in my sphere of influence, coworkers who I would hear them say some stuff, and hey, well, I just started this, and I just started my business. Hey, I would love to provide some advice or bring you on as a client to do X, Y, and Z. I would say from a money aspect is personal training is a little different because you got to show the results. So there's a little bit of doing some stuff for free or for a little bit prorated to get to that spot to say, hey, I know what I'm doing, right? But I took on about 3 or 4 clients, just kind of under like a 3-month challenge is what I called it. And from there, man, each one of them stuck to it. They got some amazing results. And then I kind of used that to boost my target audience. This year, I actually opened up to, I would say more of the general public. So the ideal client for me is somebody who I'll say between 25 and 35 years old, male or female, that's just ready to make some changes. My kicker, though, is commitment, right? I will put all of the time and energy into you, but up front, I assess what is your true commitment. No disrespect to anybody, but the hey, I want to get in shape for my birthday is 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away. That's not really for me. Like I can give you some advice on what you probably need to do, but I don't think that's the calling that's been put on me, right? What I feel like what I believe that I'm able to do is to sit down and say, all right, Billy Graham Jr., let's talk about what the next year of your life gonna look like. Because that's gonna add 10, 20, 15 years to your life, right? But from there, man, it really came down to putting some of the strategic mind to how do I start the market? How do I get this out? And for there, it was grind mode. I would go back home and pass out brochures. I was passing out brochures in North Dakota. I'm not a real big social media person, so I'm trying to figure out how to use Instagram and Facebook and all this other stuff. I realized that social media is just not my thing, bro. Yeah. So I'm glad we got gurus all over the place to handle that resource for us. But honestly, at that point, just trying to message, and then but people slowly came in. I think we also underestimate just the power of referrals. When you do a good job for somebody, word of mouth is very, very powerful. So if you're working on something and you, especially a service-based business, get those testimonials, get those reviews, because there is their words on why your program or why your product worked for them, and you can use that to build more. So I want to say about 80% of my clients are actually from referrals, and And I said, that's helped me to grow organically to where I can manage the pace with the military. And I know that these people that are coming on are more inclined to do the work and to be that target market because they were close to somebody that was already they kind of already fit the bill.
I love how you put that target market, like finding that niche, because we hear people that are, when they're being told to find a business, or like not even find a business. Let's start from the beginning. We hear some people like, you have a gift, you have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot of people out there that have gifts, have purpose, because everybody has one, but they don't know how to use it, or like when it comes time saying like, how do you monetize it? Because let's be it, to survive in the world, money is a thing. Like you got to be able to make it. And most people don't realize that you just gave one of the crucial keys and explained it, how they get it. And that's finding that niche, like finding your market. And on top of that, realizing that I don't have to do it all. There's individuals out there that their gift or their niche is something that can help me. Like you said, the social media, the marketing aspect, pass it on over. Like, you know what your focus is. Now, the thing that I love about your business, because I want everybody to understand this. This is how Cortez has narrowed down this niche-driven field. When you think of a personal trainer, a fitness trainer, or something like that, you think of somebody that meet me at the gym. Let's get this workout in, and during that time frame, I'm gonna also make a little meal plan for you and send it to you. And you're gonna eat this, but we're gonna meet at the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time. Like that's what your mind thinks because we've seen it happen. But you've carved out a space. I don't know if it was because of COVID and everybody was stuck at home or what the thinking was, but you carved out a online, like basically online. You don't necessarily go run in the gym with these individuals. Like you have an online. How did you come up with that idea for that part of your platform to say online? Because you just said I'm not that tech savvy when it comes to social media, but your niche is online and you have clients. How did you come up with that? And how does it work? Yeah,
so when I was, COVID was a big factor, right? You know, when we were sitting at home, we had no clue what it was going to look like afterwards. I mean, we didn't know we was ever going to go outside again. Right. But we always know we saw a huge pivot in the workforce and personal life to kind of online. And I chose virtual for a couple of reasons, primarily because it fits people's lifestyle a lot better. I don't have to be in the gym with you in order for you to do the exercise right. I can show you how to do it. We do video session and we can walk through these workouts, or I can put tutorials up and you can still get the same effect, but it provides a lot more flexibility for you as the client. The big piece that maintains, I'll say, keeps everything going is the accountability. I check in with all my clients at the end of the week and we sit down just like this and we go through what went well about the week, what did not, what do we want to change? What are your small goals that are contributing to you getting to your big goals, right? And this is really what I'll say, what drives everybody through that next week. So everything is ran through an app. I sat down, over COVID and said, okay, what do I need it to do? I needed to have meal plans. I need to have, all of my exercises. I need to be able to create habits so I can assign, hey, Billy Graham said he want to drink water. He want to drink more water. So I'm gonna give him, drink 3 bottles of water a day. Like I can put those reminders in. So I decided to sit there and just determine everything that I wanted my app to do. Yeah. Then from there, went with a designer to launch. So right now, if when you bring it up on your phone, it has essentially any and everything at your fingertips. You have a slew of videos to show you how to do your workouts. You have personalized nutrition plans for you. So we sit down and we go through what do you like to eat, what do you don't. And it's not a big uproot of, everything you do is bad. So now I'm gonna teach you how to eat right and make you eat all these things that you don't want. It's an integration piece. And it's very much hand in hand on what works for you and what doesn't. So that way you can stick to it and get the results that you want. It's a messaging feature. So, so am I able to change this around to this, to this? Well, okay, let's talk about what that means for the day, right? And then client support. So all of my clients, they share their successes together. Every morning I put out information. They're able to put, hey, I'm down 2 pounds this week, or I just got a new personal record on something, and we can congratulate and keep everybody going. So it's really what I wanted to go for, is to have everything at your fingertips, give you some flexibility. I want to be able to provide accountability to you and give you community. And I think we do that.
Wow. I didn't even, you do something in there I had no clue about that was a part of the fitness business. I did not know. For one, how did you even think of this? But where did the incorporation of the app come from? Like, because you just told me you're not tech, and you told me all this.
Right.
And not only did you take it online only, you have an interactive app. Like, how does that work? Where did you go find that, or to find an individual? Like, how does that work?
Well, brother, like you said, I sat down and just, what do I need it to do? Right. Like, somebody else can code it and they can develop it, but what do I need the buttons to do? What do I need to be able to figure out? And then actually just hired a developer, man. We, like you said, you got people they got tools and resources beyond belief. From there, he actually put it on the App Store for me. And when people sign up, they can sign up through my website, CortezLampleyFitness.com, or through links from our consultations. But from there, man, it downloads straight to you for OIS and Android, and you got everything right there. So it was like, I got to have a way to reach people all over. I didn't answer your question earlier, so I'll get back to it now. Another piece was my primary schedule. Military is busy. So I needed a way to stay in contact with people throughout the day, and be available, right? My big thing is I'll be available for you, to answer questions. I'm your teammate. I think that personal trainers and coaches, they develop a very unique relationship with their clients. People share stuff with me that they haven't really shared with their spouse, right? And not in an inappropriate way, but hey, I don't feel comfortable like taking my clothes off in front of my husband and my wife. Okay, well, I appreciate you sharing that with me, and those are the things that I can help you hone in on to keep you going when you don't want to. Nobody likes to diet. Nobody likes to get up and work out when they don't want to. But knowing your anniversary is coming up and y'all gonna take this trip, and you want to buy this little thing to wear for your husband or your wife, that's a motivator, right?
Yep. I love how you put that, because you said those clients that are able to talk to you and tell stuff that they would. It kind of circles back to whenever you start something like this, you're normally your first client. And I see so many people, because part of somebody like myself who does development, like I see and learn stuff by watching people. Mm-hmm. My mind analyzes everything. My wife, it drives her crazy sometimes, because I literally do it to not on purpose. Like, I can't turn it off. Like, I could be watching a movie, or I could be scrolling or looking at a post, and it said, like, my mind psychoanalyzes everything. And I do that to my own personal life. But the same way you just said, like, you went to therapy, like before you even got started, you did this and you made so many changes. I wonder if people realize, because I watch so much stuff, and you'd be like, man, why is that business struggling? Or why is this person having a hard time with what they're doing? And it's like, my first mind is, for one, they haven't taken the time to do what they're trying to sell to themselves. Right. They haven't. You want to sell me something, a product or a service that you yourself aren't even using, or aren't even incorporating into your life. So even though you might be in fitness and you have all the things that helped you, from your parents to the military backing, the support system that made Cortez who he is, all of that allows it where your clients can talk to you about these things, because you're not just physical. You also have changed your mindset. You look at things different, and you're able to give your clients a bit of information. And I don't want people to miss when you said that, because of the simple fact, in order for them to level up and get to a level like you are, they have to understand that whatever your purpose is, whatever your gift is, you have to incorporate that in your life before you can start helping others with it.
For sure. it get back to know you talked about your 5 pillars. Let's be real, man. You feel better when you got some money in your pocket. You feel
Yep.
better when your clothes fit better. You feel better when you can do the things that you want to do in life. So
Yep.
this is just one aspect of that. It's critical, right? And I don't think that the other 4 pillars function without it. But that's what drives it home is by helping you solve this problem. I'm helping you build a foundation for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Man, I couldn't have said that better. Now, you said, hold on. You said to help build that better foundation for your life.
Mhm.
With the military, you got the business going. I got to go back and ask this because you obviously have built this foundation for that person that's out there running. Because I've had this in my point happen in my life.
Right.
You said it like you said it about your life when you was like, man, things just weren't going like we all hit those moments where things are just all over the place.
Mhm.
For somebody that's watching, because I promise you, somebody out there watching is like, oh, I'm gonna watch this in the future, and they're like, he's doing exactly what I want to do. How do I start? Like, you got to tell people, where do you start? How did you build that foundation for everything that you have going on?
I mean, that's a really good question. Um, First is having a vision, man. You got to have a vision for what you want your life to look like. Uh, what does your spiritual life look like? What does your financial life look like? You got to know that. You got to be able to see it. You got to be able to taste it, touch it. And then you got to be able to look at your current life and be very critical and honest with yourself about what's getting you there and what's not. Right? I think a lot of times we want to baby ourselves for more better, no, for worse, better, worse word, right? I'm trying. Yeah, you are, but are you really?
Yeah.
So I think that you got to have that vision of what do you want your life to look like. You got to look at where you currently at and see what the delta is, and then start getting after some of that stuff. You know, one thing at a time, man. You can't do it all over. All in one day. You're not gonna wake up a millionaire tomorrow. You ain't gonna wake up in shape. You're not gonna wake up with the family, but you can start to make changes now that contribute to that. And for the person that's looking to make those changes, I'll say just start with one new thing. And you know what? I've been wanting to get up a little earlier just to start my day. Do 20 minutes this week, do 30 minutes next week, do 45 next week, right? But you got to start some small things. Just take steps. And before you realize it, you can look back like, dang, man, I came really far. Like I done took a bunch of steps, but I'm focusing on the one that's in front of me, you know?
It's funny you say that because this wasn't a plug. I promise you. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you said you got to have a vision. And for anybody that doesn't know, we have this book here.
Sure do.
Find your vision. Time to focus. It wasn't a plug, but what you just said is like those small steps. People have this thing, and we wonder why when like New Year's resolution, because we know part of New Year's resolution, I'm gonna get fit and go to the, and then January 1st the gym is packed.
Right.
But by February 1st it's almost empty, and then by March 1st it's completely back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what happened? What happened? And that's part of that. People have this vision for their life, but they aren't incorporating the small things. I tell people all the time, there are small wins inside of the big wins. Like you have to have those small steps, as you were saying, in order to get to the goals that you're trying to achieve. And when you're setting this plan or way forward, if you don't already have the steps in place and say, okay, I need to go here by this date, this by this date. If you don't have those things set up, you're not going to achieve your goal. Along the line, you're going to get discouraged. And what I'm learning from talking to you is that's how you're helping your clients. Your clients are telling you, I want this. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, I can help you with that. And then you lay out that transparent foundation of this is what it's going to take. And so basically for somebody that has, like you just said, because that was the question of how do you get that foundation? And you told them, in order to have a foundation, you got to know what you want to stand on. Literally, what you want to stand on as part of the foundation. and have a vision. In order to be able to stand on that foundation, you got to know how, think about a house. It's on the foundation. You got to have concrete, got to have workers, got to have so much water, rebar, like all the different stuff that goes in. Most people just want to dump some concrete and walk away and be like, oh, I'm good. And it's like, no, it's other steps. Mm-hmm. And you're telling them in order to have those steps, you got to take the baby steps and do little things to build that foundation. Man, I love that. I love that.
Brother, you cannot underestimate the small steps, right? People look at what they want. Or going back to the house example, oh, this brick don't matter. Well, it does, because if I remove this brick from a very specific part of your house, it could crumble, right? Yeah. So every step that you take in the direction that you want to go is critical, right? And is necessary and needed. So, don't put yourself down, or don't look at yourself less than because you're making some small steps, because eventually they're gonna make some big leaps for you.
Yep. Man, I'm loving this. Like, I'm loving the fact of this, because it's funny, because you're okay. Let's go back. I said at the beginning of the show, like, the reason I'm so invested in having you on today, because people don't know, like, I was one of those people, like, growing sports, military, and then retired. We've been moving around because we've been showing the family. And so I was talking to the wife. I'm like, hey, I'm enjoying this, but this is what I feel we got to do. We need to find a base location, like a location that we're going to call our hub. We can keep traveling and doing stuff, but we have to find somewhere where we can start setting up shop at this location, and we travel from there. Mm-hmm. And so we talked about it, because that's that foundation again. Obviously, for people like us, because I was there, our hub was America. Mm-hmm. But when you travel in America, you're basically just traveling around America every now and then, once or twice a year. You might go to somewhere like Mexico, Cancun. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, we've done this. Like, let's go somewhere else. And that's led us to Asia. But I was like, we need to find a hub. Let's travel from there, because I got to get things back right, because my foundation isn't right. Wasn't eating right, wasn't able to work out. And so now that we found it, and she was looking like, man, you're moving fast. I'm like, yeah, I know we're not going nowhere right now. Yeah. And I got to get back into it. I'm talking about, I got my grocery list to start meal planning. And I'm like, I even found the workouts, because I have workout apps just like everybody else. I might be changing, though, because the way your workout, I'm all about giving back. So I might be switching that over, coming to work with you, because I got the apps. I know what to do. But like you said, when somebody already does it, mm-hmm. why would I keep trying to figure it out? Like, I know what to do, but I'm just going to do what I've done over in the past. There might be all kinds of new stuff I don't know about, because I haven't worked with a trainer in so long.
For sure.
Definitely go. Speaking of training in so long, because I'm definitely going to be working with you. For somebody out there that's watching this, that's like, man, I love what Cortez is saying, like, and it's interactive, or it's online, and I get to move at the pace and don't have to worry about, because let's be honest, the gym is a scary place for some people.
Yeah, it can be.
So they know that they can. How would they get in touch with you in order to be able to work with you?
Oh, okay. A couple of different ways. So I have an Instagram, Lampley Fitness, nice and simple. But what you'll see there is information. My objective for my Instagram is less about videos and more of content, of informational content. I want you to be able to read something, understand how to turn right around and utilize that. Also have a Facebook group that pushes out, I'll say, a little bit more read-worthy content, so articles, getting back to, hey, how does walking, contribute to lessening your risk of diabetes, things of that sort. And then for working with me direct, you can hit the website, CortezLampleyFitness.com. Each one, my Instagram and Facebook, both have contact information. So if you hit the message or you hit the book now button, it'll redirect you. Also subscribe to the website, so that way you can get information on the email list. My manager has me put out very quality information out every week. So those are the ways that you can get in touch with me.
Wow. Not everybody, don't get it twisted. I'm going to get all that information input in the description box of the YouTube channel, because I don't want anybody to miss it, because I will have this in the description. And for those of you who don't know, make sure you go like, subscribe, share, because it's all about sharing. Sharing is caring, because there's people out there that don't have this information, and Cortez can help change their life. So I will make sure I put it in the description. Sure. Make sure you go like, subscribe, share. Strategic Dope is the channel, because, man, Cortez has laced us with some facts tonight. Now, Cortez, before I let you go, I always do this one thing to everybody.
Oh, man.
And so I have to ask you, if that person that you're out there talking to, the person that was you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 1 year ago, if you can talk to that person that's listening right now, because somebody out there right now is the you that back then that's trying to get to where you're at, what is that thing that you would tell them to help jumpstart, kickstart, that change mindset, get back into shape? What's that one thing that you would tell them to get them going?
Ooh. The one thing that I would tell them is it's never too late. People think that, I've been out of shape for so long, there's no turning around. We can make changes tomorrow. It's never too late. We can start working right now and really get you the results that you want. To like I said, again, to have you live in a lifestyle that you want, so you can get your swag back, so that you can chase your kids around, so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. It's never too late. And your fitness journey doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It's unique to you. And my expertise is to develop that for you, so that way it is a part of your lifestyle and you enjoy it to the max. It's fun. You get healthy out. It's no downside to it. It really isn't, man.
Man, I know one thing has got to happen. For one, we got to figure out how to get you back on the show for two reasons.
We do.
One, because I want people to see the physique that you're going to help me get my lifestyle back together. Hey. And two, because I want people to see, because we watch so much, especially on social media area, when we see people like, it's known to that fitness person and they got 1 million so-called followers and they're supposedly making 6 figures and got multi-million-dollar businesses based off of their, like, we see the end result, as they say, because we know most of the stuff on social media is a lie. Not knocking the ones that are truly doing those things and helping people and it generates income and all that. But majority of them, I get a big, large percent, not true. So I like to see people that are like you, me, like are starting out and they're like, I can do that, because they're able to see the steps as they go in. So I got to bring you back so they can see where you are today. And then 6 months to a year from now, they're like, wow, look at how it's growing. Plus, they're going to see my good looking physique. Hey. They're going to be able to see these things and be like, wow, so it really does work. So we got to bring you back for that. But man, brother, I got to say, because I know how busy you are. I know everything going on. So I got to say thank you again for just taking the time to even come on and drop these little tools to help change our mindset to get us going in the right direction. I got to say thank you.
All right, man. I thank you for having me. This has been a great experience. The conversation has been amazing. You touching and you reaching out to some great people, man. Because continue to do that. Continue to do it. Now, thank you for having me.
Nah, I appreciate you, brother. Now, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, because I want to talk to you right after the show. But again, thank you, Cortez. And brother, I will see you on the other side.
See you.
Man, I told you, it's life-changing. Like, I'm really serious. Like, y'all going to start looking back and be like, man, Big G look like he getting in shape. He look, because I'm finna work with Cortez, because I'm sorry. I need it in my life. I'm pretty sure somebody else out there needs it, because you have to find that foundation, as Cortez says. Like, I talk about my foundation with my 5 pillars, but you have to find that foundation and then build upon that. And part of that, you got to take better care of yourself, eat better, make sure you get out and exercise, like change your mindset. Fitness is not just about how you look when you stand in the mirror. It's also about what you intake in your body, what you intake in your mind, and the things that you put out into the world. And it's all about starting with what? Those small steps, as Cortez says, to get to that bigger goal. And that bigger goal is for you to be fit for your family, fit in all aspects, mentally, physically, and emotionally in some cases. So, man, I really enjoyed y'all tonight. Cortez killed it. Again, We will be back next Thursday with another amazing guest. And it's going to be the same time, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, because we cannot wait to see who we have coming. But I love everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. It has been great. Make sure you enjoy your weekend. And I can't wait to see you next week. And remember, as always, continue to live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next week.
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I needed change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchanged something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on.